And that brings us to one of the most critical parts, is trusting God. This is that stage where I move beyond just simply belief of that God's capable, willing, and going to, all those things. And I come to the point of, Lord, whatever is going to happen, I trust you. Now in this stage, this is that stage where I truly let go of that white knuckle grip. I no longer have my hands gripped on it. If I'm touching it at all, it's with an open hand saying it's yours. But I have let go of that need. I've let go of that thing I'm looking for healing for. And this is where you turn your belief into faith. Remember, faith is an action. You are moving beyond simply just believing that you know what God can do and you're trusting Him to do it. Does anybody remember what it says in Hebrews about faith?
Mustard seed.
I'm looking at a specific verse.
Without faith, it's impossible to please God.
That's right. You see, faith is the assurance of what we cannot see. It's an action. You are trusting God for things that have not yet come to be. You're letting go of it, but you're trusting, and that's an action. And in this stage here too, you're also beginning to allow God the space to work. Because see, we're still got that grip, we're still holding on. God's not working because He's not going to force you. And we've come to that point, I've let go, and I'm trusting Him. Now I'm giving Him the room to work. This is where real miracles begin to happen. Now let's talk about that for a moment, because we were talking in early part of this morning, we referenced John 5, at Pool of Bethsaida. We talked last week and the week before directly about it. But you go, well, Pastor, that happened in a moment. Now remember I said these are stages that you go through. There are times when God works miraculously in an instant. You still go through these stages, but you go through really fast. There are times when, if it's an immediate need that comes up all of a sudden, you might process through these stages like a snap, but you still go through them. You might go, I have a need. Okay, God, help me. I believe you, I trust you, boom, and God works. And it goes really quickly. Just like in that moment when that guy sitting there and Jesus approaches him, he had been in survival mode for a while. He may have been in denial mode, but when Jesus approached her, he went through everything really quickly. Because Jesus put him in a pointed question. Do you want to be well? And so these are processes where sometimes it goes really quickly. When God works miraculously, I assure you, you're still going through the steps. But when God takes longer to work, you still go through this process. It just is a longer process. Like when you're grieving a lost person, many times that's a longer process. Now, you can't even say, well, because it's a grief, it's going to be X number of years or X number of months. You can't do that. Because for each and every person, your process might be different. Like I'll tell you, honestly, for me, dealing with a lost loved one, because of how I think and function, that process for me is shorter. I don't hold on to it very long. I don't struggle with it very long. But that's me. Now others, it might take years, it might take months or weeks. Every person has their own process. And we can't say, well, it's time for you to move on. That's shame on our part, because that process is their process. And they're going through the stages as God is ready to deal with it. And so we can't sit there and say, well, it should only take this amount of time. That's unfair. And that's why I tell you, my job is to get you one step closer to God, which means when I work with you, I work with you each on a different level, because it's where you're ready, what you're willing to accept. So some people might be ready to take 2, 3, 4 steps or a week. Or somebody might only be able to take a half a step. But that's still working in that process. As long as we're moving toward God and trusting God and working that avenue, it doesn't matter how far you come, as long as you're still going.